Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, January 20th, and just before 8:30 a.m. So let's take a look at homework for tomorrow. I just noticed that for some reason some of the lines that are on here aren't showing up on the other charts right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just real quickly replot them, um, just kind of copy and paste type of thing. So let's do this. And so like this line here, see, is not there. Okay. I don't know why. I don't know why that would have happened. They were all on there yesterday, but sometimes, you know, software can't really. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. All right, that one's there. Maybe it's better to do it this way. So I'm moving around my cursor on another chart, and you'll see it's copying those movements now. Now you can't see my mouse on my screen, but this cursor is moving along. Okay, so those are all in place. Let's check back down to the bottom side here. Okay. So this guy is not there. Okay, it is there, hiding behind my overnight low from yesterday. Okay. Okay. Everything else seems to be good. Alright, so let's get this repositioned properly. And now let's get back towards doing the homework from last night. See what we're expecting today. Alright, so let's take a real quick look at what we got here. And let's take a look at news coming out for today. Alright, so 8:30, this is all Canadian, so of no consequence. 9 o'clock, we got someone starting the app, and we have the inauguration today. Real curious to see what that's going to do. You know, the whole buy on rumor, sell on news things. I wonder, for those of you who don't know that, there's a saying in the market. It's called buy. It says buy on rumor, sell on news. So you see a lot of price action happen in anticipation of a news release, and then when that news release comes out, you 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 get the opposite effect of what you were thinking. So a lot of times, for example, if you have a stock that's going to be releasing earnings. Let's say the expectations for those earnings are really good, and you see price drive up before the release, a day before or an hour before, whatever it might be, in expectation of that really good news. Then all of a sudden the news comes out, and it is exactly what was expected. Sometimes even a little better than what was expected, and then the price goes and turns around and goes right back down. That's the concept of buy on the rumor, sell on the news. Okay, so we don't know yet what the morning will play out as far as choppiness or what to expect with that. So I don't have something to kind of give you as a setup there or as a heads up there. But we'll certainly pay attention. Yesterday we still stayed inside this balance. We're really testing the bottom of this value here of this larger micro composite. We are just kind of sitting in this bottom area of value. I have a feeling this gap here is due to a data issue. Um, Maybe NinjaTrader hasn't gotten all the proper data for it, and we'll see if that fixes when I restart it. But it's okay. So now, first thing we'll do, let's stretch out. Sorry. Before we do that, I'm going to get rid of yesterday's value area high, and I'm going to. So I still have it on the charts. I'm going to redraw it as a line, so it doesn't extend into infinity. So I'll get rid of this here, and now I'm going to take my line tool and is this my line tool? Take this line tool here and draw. No, sorry. Let's make it even bigger too. Maybe this is my line tool. But instead of guessing, let me just see what it is. F2. Okay. I like using keyboard shortcuts. That's what I'm used to from my older trading. So I'm going to draw this in, and now this is going to be there, but it's not going to carry forward into today's trading. And the whole purpose of that is that I want to be able to see it on the chart when we look at it again later on, when we do our homework. So let's also look at, we can get rid of this overnight low because we had a swing down here, and our overnight high disappeared too. Really annoying. Let me get it back. This. So again, it's like here's another line. It's on this chart, but it's not on the other one. Okay, there it is. So we're going to turn this into horizontal. I'm sorry, into solid. And we'll do the same thing. I'll get rid of this here, although this seems to also coincide with another line, but just for prosperity's sake. Okay. And I'm so sorry about this. I don't know why the fuck the software's giving us trouble here. $52.08. So what that's going to give us, other than a pain in our ass, what that's going to give us is the ability to see these lines over on the 610 tick chart. I think I see why we might have been having some problems. I know this is not the most exciting part of why we get together and do our homework, but it is a necessary evil to make sure your information's on here right. We saw already one time this week how that came back and bit us in the ass. Okay, so we have stayed inside the balance of this microcomposite. If you look at yesterday's profile, it is pretty nicely sorry, I'm not. I'm getting confused now. Why this? Um, all right, let's try this again. So you'll see here we have a pretty good. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, guys, hang on. I'm gonna. Now my drawing tool's not working. All right, I really want to show you this. And I spent all this time yesterday making sure I had a good drawing tool for us to use. Okay. Okay. And it's just not. It's just not working. Let me try one last thing. I'm really sorry about this. I promised the whole point was to have it be better for you. And I was using this yesterday. I tested this all night yesterday. Okay, so there we go. Maybe I just have to restart it. What I'm trying to draw here is, if you look, we do have a fairly bell-shaped curve here with a couple of distributions. So let me show you what I mean by that. So we do, it's a fairly nice big bulge in the middle. We got one distribution here. You can see a little bump down here, and there was also for that. There's a low volume. There's a low volume node in here too, right there. So what that what that tells us is, and we can kind of see it here in the trading, we really stayed in balance. We tested above, we tested below. At the end of the day, we just kind of came back and sat in the middle. So for me, what that would mean overnight would have been some type of choppy open. We'll see what overnight did. We'll see what we're trading now, and kind of take some information away from there. So let's take a look at that actually right now. Oh, I see what the. Well, I feel better that I figured out what the hell was wrong before with my drawer, because that was really killing me. Okay. So currently we are trading at 52.89. So let's take a look at what our expectations are. 52.89. Way out of, I shouldn't say way out of yesterday's range in its entirety. We are into Thursday's range. So what we're going to do is our first expectation, we're going to do something like this. So we have a nice big gap up. We're going to, you know what? Sorry, let me put overnight high and overnight low on here, so we have those as reference levels. Okay, so overnight high. Now these numbers can change. These overnight high and overnight low can change between now and the open. So we're going to pull this one off. Let me see if I can do that here. Okay, there's our overnight high. And it looks to me that overnight low is the same as overnight low from 2 nights ago. And it is, so we're going to draw that on here as well. Okay, we'll take those over to our charts. So, once again, let's take a look at where we're trading right now. Sorry, I ended up spending so much time this morning on other stuff. I really wanted to put more time into this, the hypothesis, but that's okay. It's alright, it is what it is. Currently trading 52.91, so still right where we were before in our, so let's put this here. So initial expectation is going to be for test of the overnight high, failure here, come back into yesterday's range, so to test the high of day from yesterday into yesterday's range, see if that high of day holds, and if it does, we're going to expect a retest here of this overnight high and swing, and that's going to be expectation number 1. Okay. Expectation number 2 is going to be an open drive down. Sorry, let me draw that a little better. An open with a drive down towards filling the gap, get about halfway, chop, push back up, test overnight high, break, turn this into support, and start making our way up. That's going to be number 2. Expectation number 3 is break, get above, test overnight high, test this swing, and then start making our way up towards this VPOP, which also coincides with a high volume node in the composite. And expectation number 4, sorry, that was number 3. Expectation number 4 is, is going to be, let's see here. The only thing I would really add to those, well, the only thing we can add to this is going to be, again, some type of test above, maybe all the way up to yesterday's high, which we'll put on the chart here, and then a failure down, test yesterday's top of range, get into it, and if we do get into that range, come down to test the epoch. Right now, because we're opening inside the range of Wednesday, we we know that Wednesday's VPOC was down here, and we have yesterday's VPOC right here. So we have a couple of magnets beneath us. So if we do try to test higher and we fail, we certainly would be watching if we come back into the range from yesterday. If we come back through yesterday's high and start making a push back down, can we get to the VPOC from yesterday? So those are our morning expectations. Let's add a couple of things here. I want to add my swings. So we're going to take this guy. We're going to take this guy. Now, the previous day high and low is automatically a swing if you think about that. So this because that's where price got to and turned around, and that's what a swing high is. It's just a point that you got to in an uptrend and then reversed from there. So without question, the high of the day, just based on definition, is a swing high, and the low of the day is a swing low. So we transpose them over here like that. Now we have those ready to go. We should have done it actually on the day before too, which we didn't. So now let's get our homework out of the way.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, good morning, Billy.
Morning.
What's happening? Okay, so make sure this is off. You came on just in time because you missed a lot of fumbling around this morning, so you didn't really miss anything. So now let's start looking. While we have about 10 minutes to review yesterday. Let's see what we got. One thing to take note here of, actually, just about last night, you can see where yesterday's close was here. Okay, you can see this, and if you look at the trading from overnight session, pretty much everything has traded above it. So we would call that where we have a net inventory is long from overnight. So we do expect a sell-off based on that, and we do have a couple of levels up here that we're going to be watching. We're coming right up against resistance. Tell you the truth, when we open today, depending on what the market looks like, depending on what the chart looks like, it is very rare that you'll see me try to get into a short trade, or any trade early in the day. I would actually be willing to try to go short. In fact, I'm going to do this right now. What's the 97? Okay. So
Order pending. Order filled.
I'm going to stretch this out so I can place my orders. I want my stop outside of here. I'm going to where are we in? 96, 95. Oh, interesting. We're going to put one up here.
Order pending.
We're going to put one on here.
Order pending.
Okay. So now let's get back to yesterday's. We'll let this play out. If I get filled, I'll add stop orders and stuff. What's up, Billy?
And you're putting all those in because of how many different levels of resistance there may be, right?
Yeah. So it's
all at once, and then after that, there's basically nothing.
exactly. So
Okay.
the overnight inventory is pretty much 100% long right now. We are sitting at the overnight high, which in a lot of cases tends to act as resistance. We have a huge gap up. That I'm not crazy about. You know, general rule of thumb is you're gonna stay in the direction of the gap until proven otherwise. But I do like how many areas of potential resistance we have above us. So we'll give it a shot. Remember, on simulation, certainly one of the things I'm trying to do is get more accurate, get better, not fumble around like I have for the last few days. But the other thing I can use it for is to test theory, is to kind of just test things out and see how these types of setups work. We had a setup just like this the other day that I didn't trade, and it worked out exactly as we would have expected. So I'd rather be in it so I can remember it better than not take a trade and just say, okay, if seeing the way today is setting up, this is what I would like to do. And now recording these videos are going to be great because I can always go back and journal my trades. You know, I can anytime I want to. So that's kind of cool. So all right, let's take a real quick look. What time we got here? All right, to yesterday's trading. So prior to yesterday, prior to the open, we had been looking at this level here. This dotted blue line was the value area high from the day before. We had talked about we're going to go test it. If we test it and it fails, we're going to expect to move back down towards, I believe it was here that we were shooting for, 52.12. And then if that failed, we were still further, a little bit further going to be testing the overnight low. If the value area of the day before held, so again, if this dotted blue line held and wasn't, we got above it and stayed above it for a little bit, then we were expecting a push up not only to the overnight high, but we had a VPOC above us that we were expecting to try to go for. So what ended up happening was market opened, so we pushed open drive down, push right back up. To overnight VPOC, we come back down, test. I get long in here, really good entry. I think it was 29 was. I got in twice. I started getting in at 34, right above VWAP, and then added on at 29. I actually added two of them on at 29, and then when we stayed here for a couple of bars, I got a little bit impatient, closed out my trade to break even. Turns out it would have been a beautiful trade. Makes its way up. We break above value area here. When we get to it, we test it and we hold. Now we don't go short right away. Maybe we did actually. I don't remember. Hang on. Okay. So we do go short at 30. Oh, this is where I started fumbling around. Okay. So we do go short here, and let's do a little bit of hindsight. Oh yes. We go short, but by the time we get short, we have lost divergence. So when I entered my trade, meaning I put the order out there, we had potential divergence as we were moving up. When we got there, that divergence had kind of disappeared. So error on my part. We do also get what looks to be the beginning of a good candle setup here with this strong
Order
push.
filled.
Oh, hang on. Let me get my stop order adjusted here. All right, so we just got scaled into another one. Oh shit! Sorry. So we do go short here. We've lost the diversion, so mistake on my part. But we do enter a short here. We end up coming up to a former VPOC. It holds, and now we're watching for this to hold. One of the mistakes on my part yesterday was this here is an entry here. You break above like this, you consolidate, you get a trap to the top side, a strong push down. We can use this 41, really 43 would have been where I was looking to enter. This now can be used as support. Even overnight VPOC can be used as support. Even VWAP can be used as support. Although VWAP really wasn't respected all that much at this point. Still a little early, but so you have some support levels beneath you that you could have used to put a stop price in. So missed this one here. We test the value area high again. It holds. Now our expectation is we're going to get another push up, and we're expecting to push all the way up to the overnight high. So we push up. We don't get there. Certainly have more than enough room for some of our profit taking. Now we turn and we start heading down. Now at this point, I am not looking for a short. I'm looking to get back long, which would have happened down here. So this would have been a losing trade. I've looked at this chart. I actually looked at this one last night a little bit because I was a little frustrated on how poorly I did, not trading, but in fumbling. And this looks like a clean setup to me over and over. The only thing that maybe could have turned us away from this are the BBs. That we had a real starting of a push down in the BBs by the time we got here. And then when we level off, we still see this pushing down in the BBs. Maybe. To me, I still look at this as a trade I would have been and I would have lost on. So be it. I think actually I did take this trade. I did take this trade and lose on it. So now we push down. This move here happened very, very quickly. Let's see. This bar was 10:02:02.
Order filled.
Oh, hang on. We're into our last one here.
Stop filled.
No. Oh yeah, that's right. So we should be out here.
Stop filled.
Okay. Didn't work. Let's recalculate our overnight high. And let's see where that puts us. So now what's happening is we are actually opening above all these points of potential support or resistance. We're still going to watch at the open for, we got just about a minute. We're still going to watch at the open to see if we come down below these, if we open, come below, test. I really would like to see, I'd love to see for this open, pull back, test overnight high, have overnight high, hold, and then make a push back down. Well, we'll see what happens. In my old trading days, I never took trades before the open. Even now, for the most part, I never take trades before the open. But I do like this. I will continue to look for that type of setup. Maybe it'll be a little bit closer towards the open. Maybe literally seconds before instead of minutes before. But I am still going to look at that setup where we're trading near overnight high and have all these levels above us. Or vice versa, trading near overnight low and have a bunch of levels below us. So here comes the open. Let's see what we get. We have every level that matters to us on here now. Quick push up.
Order pending. Order pending.
Taking all three contracts at
Order
once.
filled.
And this is exactly what I want. I want my stop to be a couple ticks above the current high of day. And basically, it's the same concept where I know we are
order pending
on inventory from overnight. All trading overnight happened above yesterday's close. So we're like I said, we're net long there. We're way above yesterday's close. Big gap up. We did just come through. We did just come through these levels, but we're high enough above them that we can, we have room to come down and test these as support. Very, very rare I take a trade this early in the day. Again, the reasoning I'm giving you is all valid for why we would want to take this type of trade, but it is not the same as the type of trades you've seen me take before. So, the profit target and so on is still going to be the same, but since we have three, what we're going to do now, we have our first profit target is going to be, I see overnight high shifted. Okay, sorry, here we go. So first profit target is going to be right here at our 10 ticks. Second profit target, we're going to use, I'll tell you the truth, I don't really see a good, we do have this couple of levels. Hey, let's use that. Let's use above here. Let's go to 7. Let's make it 8.
Order pending.
not crazy about the length of time so far that this has taken. I would have liked to have seen this, push the way it did, fail, and now start making its way down fairly aggressively. But that is not happening right now. Our third profit target I'm going to put down here. Now keep in mind, if it goes in this direction,
Order pending.
We'll also be trailing our stop at that point. So it might not necessarily get all the way down here. We might trail our stop down and have other trade entries show up. But at this point, I just got to be patient. If you take a look what's happening, we're getting divergence on the 610. We're getting divergence on the 987. We're flattening out, trying to roll over on the 1597. And if that happens and we stay in this consolidation, if then we made a push up, we'd still be trying to get short. We'd be looking to go short off of the high of day with divergence. So for now, just kind of got to sit and wait. Where is, okay, so yesterday's high is way down here. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a look at what 50% is from yesterday's high to today's open. And that's 52.92. Okay. So I'm going to use this swing. So we are definitely sitting at areas right now that can make this difficult for us. Overnight high, the opening of the day, 21 bar moving average. Just some spots, some levels that certainly we wouldn't be surprised to see it slow down at. Not necessarily turn it into a losing trade. I would love that for that not to happen, but not surprising that the open of the day and the overnight high were tested, and at least for now have held. But we're still looking to see that the fact that we had this opening push, and keep in mind it did also happen at a level. It happened at a I don't even know what the hell this thing is supposed to be. I can't tell if this is a dash or a dot. It happened at a dot, so that makes it a form of epoch. Those dots look different than these dots, don't they? Oh, I'll tell you what, I'll bet you there's more than one thing here. Yeah, okay, it's dot on top of a dot. Okay, cool. Makes me feel better that at least it's not just some random new shape that I'm not familiar with. So honestly, at this point, because of the way we've leveled off here, we really, if we weren't in a trade right now, we'd actually be looking for a potential short on a push back up. So I'm happy to be in the trade. I'd like maybe to have a slightly better price point, but happy to be in the trade. We're really stuck right now between two levels. The overnight high and the regular open, and the current high of day, and these VPOCs here that are just above where we're trading now. These VPOCs right here. And it's probably the same VPOC. One is drawn automatically, which is where we get the first set of dots from, and one I drew in by hand, I'm guessing, which is where we get the second set of dots from. In my opinion, time is not our friend in this trade. Again, because of the size of the gap up, I would much rather see this have made its drive like it did, and then push down. But I would really rather have seen that push down happen faster. I don't like that people are willing to be so willing to trade up here. Let's see if we can't get a nice sharp move down through the opening price, the high of day. Get this out of the way for a second. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. So. A little bit of nothing. Billy, do you have any questions? I mean, I guess now's as good a time as any. If there's anything you want me to go over?
Um, Earlier you said something like 21 bar moving
Yeah.
average. What is that exactly?
So this is actually an exponential moving average, so it calculates it slightly differently. But basically, it takes the closing price of the last 21 bars, adds them all together, and then divides it by 21, and it just shows you a visual representation of what that would be. And it's used by a lot of people to try to spot trend. A lot of people do use it as support and resistance. So it's on here because it's something that a lot of people pay attention to.
Okay, it's a pretty important level then.
Um, I, I, Not as important to me as the other ones, but yeah, it is something. It's one of those
It's
things.
something to look at.
Yeah, like you see here overnight, you see how it's getting respected this whole way.
Mm-hmm.
So as we
Yeah.
see it being respected, it becomes more important.
Okay.
So like here's a good example. So let's just say we were watching this and I don't have the full context, but let's just say you're watching this, you like how this is setting up, you have a low, high, higher low, higher high. Now you pull back, you're at this level, you're at the 21 EMA, and you get a nice bullish candle. You can look at this and say, okay, I'm going to take my entry here because I'm going to use my EMA as my potential stop. I have this level here, so you can use this as a valid level if you see it being respected. It happens again right here, same exact type of thing. I can't believe how slow this is right now. Okay, let's see. I'm just kind of waiting. Really testing patience here. But I mean, honestly, there's just nothing to do right now, and maybe it is because in advance of the inauguration, everybody's just chilling. Okay. And I am told that I'm going to have to show a disclosure at the beginning of these videos, so I'm just searching around for a good one. I think I found one. And what I'll do is I'll show a disclosure and I'll put a link maybe in the description so that anyone can go see it anytime they want to. All right, so we've bounced away one more time. We bounced away from the open and the overnight low. We have divergence up here. If we weren't in a trade, we'd be trying to get into one right now. So no real cause for panic yet. Again, the part that's concerning me is the time. I just don't like how much time it's spending up here and how much volume it's putting in at these higher prices. I would have really loved to have seen a sharp push down after that first drive.
Seems like on just about every chart that you have now, it's on the BBs. It's showing more and more as we go on. Like the 1597, the 1597 even.
Yeah.
You saw it kind of coming down, and then now it's starting to flat out again.
Yeah. Yeah, the 1597 isn't yet really cooperating with this. The other ones certainly do have divergence, certainly. At this point, the only thing I would have liked is to have a better entry price. I'd like to be able to move my stop a little further away, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take on an unnecessary amount of risk, because you have to keep in mind above here. Let me bring up our homework chart. Above here, you really don't got much for a little ways. So I think this is the spot that we drew some low volume nodes and high volume nodes on a composite last time we looked at this. But you really don't have a ton up here, and that's like you asked me before. That's why we took a full position, because our stop is under 10 ticks in our full position. Normally, if we have a bunch of levels, at least the way I'm doing it right now, and certainly all this can change over time, but for now, there's no candle on here. Look, our range is so tight, I can't even see a candle. That doesn't make sense. Wait, this is frozen. Oh, wait
Stop
a
filled.
second. Does this not have today's data on it? Did all my fucking homework... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. I don't think it would have mattered for my homework as long as it was showing me yesterday. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so we've been stopped out, but really we need to be looking here again for a short. So,
Order cancelled.
forget the now, like, the opening trade right off the bat. Now we need to start watching this for what we normally watch for. And actually, we do have divergence. We do have good reason to try to be short here. 1597 is not yet cooperating with us, like Billy pointed out. So nice job there, Billy. But we are still looking at potential shorts up here. So the entry that we had before, didn't work out. Again, the reasonings are all valid, and we're going to try as much as I can. When I see that type of setup, I'm going to talk about it and show it again. We'll just see how they play out. But right now, with hindsight in play, we did get a push down, but we could see how overnight high held. We would not have been looking to go long down here at overnight high, only because we did show negative pressure in the BB, so we would not have been trying to take this double bottom as a long. Now, I'm sorry, I would not have. For those of you who are looking at this and seeing it differently than me and saying, well, okay, we tested the overnight high, we tested the open, it held, we push away, we come back, now we test, we have, again, the overnight high, the open, we now have the 21 bar EMA along with us. If you look at this and you say, this to me is a decent candle setup, you wouldn't get an argument from me. It's not a long I would have taken, but you would not get an argument from me if you looked at that and said, I'm going to take this and my stop is going to be ludicrously tight, only a couple ticks down here. So, you could easily have a 4 or 5 tick stop on this trade if you decided to take it. So now that we have held above this overnight high the way we have, we really are now looking for pullbacks to buy, because if so far this has held, next level above us, we got a ways to go before we get there. So we would love to see some type of pullback with an opportunity to go long. So here's your consolidation. Here's your breakout. And even here, like, there's nothing, to my eye, there's really nothing here that I would have used as a potential long entry. Now, granted, my bias was skewed because I was already in a short position. One of the dangers, this happened to us the other day too, one of the dangers of being in a bad position, and I don't think that the trade we made today was a bad position, but one of the dangers of being in a bad position is that you start looking at the market a little bit differently. You look at the price in the way that best suits your trade. But so far, we have 2 trades today, both outside of our normal trading style. But like I said, it is stuff I do want to be paying attention to. Now we're starting to come and potentially set us up for a breakout pullback entry. So we are going to put one.
Order pending.
We're going to put one out here. And then we would be willing to scale in. You almost have to see, you really almost have to scale in all the way down to here, to really be protected of a pullback. But this pullback right now can easily stop at the middle of the day, can easily stop at VWAP. We've seen the 21 bar, we've seen the EMA get respected so far. We saw these VPOCs here initially act as resistance. Now that we've broken them, we've seen them act as support a couple of times. So we do have quite a few things here to tell us that we'd like to try to get long. Still, of course, we have our gap up. Just to kind of give you an idea, early when I first started looking at futures again, at least starting to trade full time, getting to look at the screen every day, which to me is full time. Only maybe 5 weeks ago now-ish. This type of move here would have destroyed me, because two things would have happened. I would have taken the trade you saw me take this morning, and in this case it didn't work out. I don't mind the trade we took this morning. I really don't. But in this case it didn't work out. One thing I will say about the trade we took this morning, because I had set my overnight high before the end of the overnight session, I was actually quite a few ticks lower. So it looked to me as if I had my 10 tick profit between my entry and the overnight high. Had I been more accurate, I don't know that I don't know that I would have seen it, but it's certainly something that would have needed to have come into play. But anyhow, some of the other trades that I would have been doing here that I would have been wrong on is I would have definitely gone short, definitely gone short up here for sure, and I would already be short up here. I was what they would call a perma fader, like always just looking to fade. Days like today, where you open up outside of the prior day's range, and then you hold a level like we did here, these turn into potentially really strong trend days. These are the potential kind of days where you make your money. When you look at your trading over the course of a month, you'll notice that you're going to, if you're consistent, and you will be, God willing, if you're consistent, you'll make money just about every day, almost certainly every week, and really should every month. And you'll start seeing that 2 or 3 days a month turn a good month into a great month. And those days tend to happen on openings like we saw today. Strong gap up, and it not necessarily in the direction of that gap, but there tends to be a lot of longer time frame traders getting involved on days like today.
Now, right around this bar here,
Yep.
going on to this bar,
Yep.
do you think that you'd be willing to take a long?
No,
Because
not enough of a pullback.
I was kind of looking at it from a standpoint of like, the Unorenko charts we were looking at,
Yep.
because it kind of set up to where it was going down, it went back up, it created a new bar, and then it went up again.
So here is
Yeah.
your Unorenko. You never. Now again, this all comes down to what setting you have on the Unorenko. So you do have a pullback on it here, but it never goes red. So yeah, your concept is. Listen, your concept is 100% right. You're in an uptrend. You get a pullback. The question is that enough of a pullback for you to want to go along there? The concept is 100% right. In an uptrend, you look for opportunity to buy on a pullback. For me, it's just not enough of a pullback. But what you're saying is exactly what the idea is.
Because
you buy.
when you're talking about a trend day, what are you like? Because you always refer to the Unorenkos as a trend. What trend are you looking at when you're not looking at the Unorenkos?
Well, the trend, the Unorenkos, when I refer to as a trend, it means that it is basically designed to keep you in the direction of a trend. But if you look at overnight, and even though it's overnight trading, if you look at overnight, this would be considered a trend day, where you open and right away you start going in one direction, you get some pullbacks, but you continuously trade in that direction with no major pullbacks. That's the definition of a trend. Now, the Unorenkos is just one way of plotting that on a chart, but you don't need the Unorenkos to say, okay, we're in a trend. And so for me, like right now, probably like talk about the EMA, like the EMA, the VWAP, you see how they're all sloping up? Those are all ways to say, okay, we're in a trend. Drawing trend lines from, this low up through these closes, okay? Like all of this shows trend. Higher high, the definition is you get a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. That's the true definition of a trend. Now, even on a trend day, you're going to have times where where you break that trend for a little bit, where you consolidate, where you even pull back a little. But if it is a trend day and stays that way, you ultimately just continue to move in one direction.
Order
Now, I
canceled.
really do think the inauguration is going to make for some tricky trading today, because at any point in time, Trump can say anything that people are going to react to. Let's actually get the ES up here too. But for now, these BBs, look at the 1597 now. 1597 definitely showing strength. The other ones are really, look how tight the distance is between the BBs. Sorry, between the upper and lower band of these BBs. So I mean, that's just showing you that we have absolutely dreadful consolidation right now, really tight range. We can see even as we're trading up, look at how small so many of these candles are. And this again, a whole bunch of times I've said this now. This type of stair stepping action is not good for me. It's not good for the type of trading that I'm looking to do. But certainly right now we're still looking for a long here.
Order pending.
And let me show you here what we're using. So we have middle of the day VWAP, opening range high, 21 bar EMA. We have a whole bunch of stuff here. In fact, we're going to, where's this at? 33. This is at 28. That's kind of the end of where I'd be willing to take on risk here. So let's do this.
Order pending. Order pending.
So once we break through, and we have VPOC here too. We have today's VPOC, so I probably should be treating that as one too.
Order canceled.
Not great price.
Order canceled.
So what I'm looking at is this. Middle of the day, VWAP right now are the exact same price, so we're at 30. Opening range high is a little bit above that, so I'm putting my first order slightly one tick above opening range high. But I'm looking at this as, can I scale in here, right? And I have all the way down to the VPOC that I would be willing to scale. And truth be told, I really should be willing to go all the way down to the overnight high. So this is a pretty big range. It's not horrible. 15 ticks of scale. That's not horrible. The problem is where to put those next scales, right? So if I come down, let's say from 33, if let's say I want to put one more in at 29, okay, that's fine. If I put one more in above VPOC, that still gives me a fairly big stop to come overnight to the overnight high, which right now none of this
Order
matters.
canceled.
We're just continuing our way up. So, when you put your scales in, you really want to be having them in areas that make sense. In a case like this where it's hard to kind of do that, I'd almost be willing I'd almost be willing to put 3 in here, okay? Then have a really tight stop, maybe right below this VPOC. Then, I really don't like it. This is a different. This from me, from what I'm trying to look at. This would be a tough area for me to pick areas to scale, pick levels to scale into, because I definitely want to be below here for my stop. Certainly below here. That's easy. That's easy. You get some now that the middle of the day has climbed up a little bit since we have a new high. Middle of the day is exactly what it sounds like. You take your high, you take your low, add them together, and divide it by 2. So if we took a Fibonacci, if we pull the Fibonacci here, and let's see if I can get it accurate. So my example isn't. You see the 50% is right on the middle of the day. That's all it is. But where it's at now, maybe here, middle is what, 32 now. So you put an order in at 34.
Order pending.
Now that gives us some room to potentially scale down, getting in at this swing. I'm sorry, at this former VPOC. Yeah, okay. But again, right now none of this matters.
Order
This
canceled.
type of trade is torture. I'm telling you, I would have gotten my ass handed to me on a day like this 5 weeks ago. And please don't confuse the first 2 trades you saw this morning as part of our trading style. I am using demo mode for the exact reason you should. I am testing things that I believe can work over time with enough of a data set. I'm keeping track of those things. I do a pretty good job of remembering trades. I mean, remember when I used to trade, I was making about 1,000 trades an hour, and I could pretty much tell you what I did in any stock I traded. In a lot of cases, pretty close to the penny. So now I only have to remember 5 or 6 in any given day. So I do a pretty good job of remembering what we did and how it worked out. So the only trade today that we would have potentially taken we would have been looking to try to get into a short up here, but the context would have kept us out. You heard me saying even when we were in this trade, the fact that it's taking so much time, I'm not all that excited about it. I mean, it looks like we're putting in our volume up here. People are happy with trading up here. The context would have kept us from going short at this move back up here. We would have switched over looking for a long. I would not have caught this. I can tell you right now. Probably should have, but I would not have. And I say I should have. The BBs certainly are not supporting it. All right, the 1597 is, but the other ones are not. But with context, you might take the risk here and say, okay, I'm going in here with a stop just below these levels. It's going to be a 5-tick stop. Maybe you're getting in at 1920, and your out is going to be 15, 14, somewhere in that area. So I could see if somebody's watching this and they say, well, yeah, I think that would have been a good trade, even if they were saying, I don't care if you say it in hindsight, that doesn't matter to me. As long as you recognize what it is that made that trade for you a reasonable trade to enter, as long as you can recognize that and see that again and again and again, that's great. That's what hindsight's for. But right now, I mean, this is just flat out torture for me. I was really looking to try to do some stuff with the ES today, try to at least get some homework done. But I don't know why the last few days the software's been kind of messing with me. So here again, we're getting a pullback, but we kind of got to be careful. So we definitely have this consolidation here. So I am going to start watching for a candle setup. If I get a candle setup in here in this area, I would be willing to get into one trade. Here again, we're now getting to a point where I want to be
Order pending.
And again, I am going to be watching now for a candle setup as well. So we're getting a potentially nice close here.
Order
Hit
pending.
one here. Oh, really?
Okay, you should be in both of these.
Order filled.
All right, so we're in one with my potential scale. This kind of helps the scale a little bit. Now again, I'm going to be watching. You see how the BBs just had a really sharp decline down. Enough room to get our 10 ticks.
Order
Not a
pending.
ton of room to get our 10 ticks, but let's see if we can't scale in some here, and we'll look to scale in some here if it gets down there.
Order pending.
And basically, the candle setup I'm talking about here is two things. One, we came to test the bottom of this channel here, so that is a potential support level. And then we got a nice bullish candle here with a break above that high. So I'm in one tick higher than I would like to have been, but that's just kind of what happened. You can see we just shifted VPOC, and so colors just changed. This is now currently the highest traded price of the day. We have this void here in volume. A lot of times this acts as resistance as well. Let me expand this for a second. Let me just see. So really for my scale, I really need to be one above here, because if you remember me saying the other day, a lot of times when you have this steep change, and I mean, I guess technically this is considered a steep change too, but I want to be at the last area that had some volume traded above this void. See now, I don't fully understand the formula and how those BBs are created, but you can see in this sharp move, you get the most reaction out of the BBs. ES is pushing up higher, so we'll see if that has any effect. You can see this right off the bat started making its way up. Another push higher. I can't wait. I really am looking forward to doing
Order filled.
on the ES. Okay, so we're in our second one. Okay, so we're in that volume void that we were talking about. Not crazy about this divergence here, but again, we have room to get out of our first contract. We still this is really the first major pullback of the trend day. We're pulling back to the mid of the day. That tends to the ES still pushing. That tends to be an area that if you stay above the mid, the belief is you will continue in your trend, which sounds silly, because obviously if you pull back and you stay above here, you make your way up, you're going back into a trend. Okay, fine. But this is one of the trade areas that a lot of people pay attention to. I mean, the ES has to be. I don't know what the all-time high is on the ES. I really should probably. I don't have a chart yet in place for you can see here again. So with the ES, here's yesterday's close. We had a big gap up for the open, and it's just been an immediate push. Breaks through overnight high, pull back to test overnight high. Um, nice setup right there. Pull back test overnight high, test VWAP. Nice potential setup there. I can't tell you that that's enough of a setup because I haven't watched it. And I certainly don't want to just say, oh yeah, that's the one we'd be in. I don't know, but the definition, what it is exactly what we kind of watch for. Let's see what's going to take place here in oil. Just missed our third scale. And see, now once again, I'm not crazy about where my stop's going to end up being because I don't have the protection of the overnight high. But for just because the distance of the move, we had to, shouldn't say had to, we chose to start scaling in. Um, we did have what looked to have been a potentially nice candle setup here. As of right now, it is not. The 21 EMA is now starting to look like resistance. So let's see what happens there. If we can push back above it. Still, the mid and the VWAP are holding. We came below it, pushed right back above it, but they're not really making the kind of move I'd like to see us make here. ES came off the high, but looks like it's going to continue to try. Do this here. You can see on the ES, all the BBs are pointing up. Okay, let's see what goes on here with both of them. Let's just keep an eye out, see what happens. Still have, no doubt we'll have divergence up here on oil. The only reason we wouldn't be all that aggressively yet trying to go short is we have a fair amount of space to this level. What we didn't do today, and let's take a look at what that's going to mean to us. The other day I was showing you we're going to add two new line definitions to the chart. They're going to be high volume nodes and low volume nodes off of the composite. And we have come up to a low volume node here. I'm not going to start blasting them all over the chart just yet, but I just wanted to see if there was anything. So, we really could have added a couple of levels in here just for us to be able to pay attention to. But I don't want to add it after the fact. Again, that's something that we might end up starting to do. 21 EMA still now holding as resistance, not cooperating. We've created a channel here. Kind of just gotta sit and wait. First trade entry here was definitely aggressive. The only level we had, and it is a level, is we had the bottom of this channel here. Definitely aggressive first trade entry. Good trade entry off of the mid. I'm not saying it's going to go in our favor. Of course, I hope it does. But as far as looking at how this setup,
Order filled.
waiting for the pullback. Good trade entry off of the mid there. Happy with that. Good trade entries on the scale ends. I'm happy with where those ultimately were based on levels, as based on reasons why. we have some volume on the bid below us, but I don't really know that that's gonna matter. I don't know if that's what's gonna cause this to turn around or not. But there's definitely a lot of pressure here. And truth be told, this is one of the setups that we watch for. So the fact that potentially it might not work, that's okay. Nothing we watch is going to be 100%. But this is one of those things that we look for. We look for a move up, a pullback, giving us an opportunity to enter around a whole bunch of levels. We actually have decent price action to want to enter in these trades. Because it just doesn't. So it hasn't been stopped out yet, and hopefully it won't. But they don't. Nothing is 100%. So I don't want you to look at something. I don't want you to look at when we have bad trades and be discouraged. It's just a matter of making sure you're seeing it, getting into all of them, doing your best to hold your winners, get rid of your losers, find your levels properly. ES is turned down. It's now testing VWAP middle of the day. Just kind of wait.
Where right now are your profit targets at for oil?
Right now, I only have one of them out there at my 10 ticks, and in a minute, I'm actually going to take a look at where to put the other ones. I just want to see if I can get this. I don't know why I don't want this one. This one shows up at 5 ticks. I really don't want that. Okay, that's fine. So certainly the 10 ticks. We're happy with that one. We're going to put another one. Okay, so normally, because of this divergence, I'd want to put another one here by the overnight high, right? The problem for me, the only reason I'm hesitant about that is if we do, if okay, we obviously haven't yet. Still, none of this is exciting. I do like to break above the VWAP and all that shit, but if it holds here, nice. Maybe we can start forming our re-entry to the uptrend, low, high. If we can form a higher low here, turn back up, form a higher high, that's nice. But because of the way the day is setting up, I will put my second profit target, because I won't be in front of the screen most likely.
Order pending.
Hopefully, in fact, I'm pretty much going to have to go in just a minute or so. I'm going to put my second profit target up here, and then my third profit target, I'm going to go back to my homework chart, because I really want to see. So this profit target, yeah. So we're going to put our third profit target down here below this. Give it a few ticks.
Order pending.
Now, keep in mind, if I was in front of the screen, those profit targets are in place, but I would also be moving my stop and things like that. So, but I'm not gonna. I know I'm not gonna be able to be in front of the screen for that. But like I said, I pretty much have to wrap this one up today. But yeah, that's what it would be. Now, if we weren't in what looks to be the beginning of a trend day, if we were in more of a range day, meaning we opened inside yesterday's range, especially even inside yesterday's value, then I would be saying, okay, maybe we take two off here because I don't expect us to break by much, and then maybe shoot for the next level above that. But because it looks like we might be in the beginning of a trend day, and I'm not going to be in front of the chart to potentially buy on the pullbacks and move my stop and so on, that's where I would put it. I would love to be here for this first one to get taken out, so I can move my stop to break even. So let me just, even if it doesn't happen on the chart, meaning if I'm not in front of the chart to do it, let me just tell you what we would do so that you guys can kind of, tomorrow when we look at it and I talk about it, it won't be hindsight. What I would do is when we get, if we get our first profit target, I would move my stop to break even. And then I really would, I would try to follow it up as we make clear breaks of levels, like for example, this current high. If we break above that and we start consolidating, I'd move my stop up to underneath that consolidation, with a few ticks to protect it. Once we get to here, at that point, that's how I would move my stop. It wouldn't necessarily be by a certain number of ticks, but it would be based on the price action on the chart. So at this point, I do have to run. Again, if anyone watching this has questions, just email me. I have started now on YouTube. You'll see that these are all showing as live streams, so you should be able to go find these on there, and you can post comments or things like that. I haven't done it, so I don't know, but I'm sure it would notify me that somebody has a question. So, all right, you guys have a great day. I will maybe I'll post something this weekend if I do set up my charts. If not, I'll see you guys on Monday. All right, Billy, have a good day, my man.
All right, see you Monday. Yep, you too. Later.
Thanks, Eddie.
No problem.
See you, bud.
All right, brother. Hey, I didn't realize you were on here, Rob.
Hey, I didn't realize you were on here, Rob.
Yeah, I jumped on as soon as I could. I had to drop off the kids at school. You know how it is. So, but I'll jump back on Monday. So, thanks, bud.
All right, sounds good. You got it anytime, man.
Okay, see ya.